Welcome. In front of me I have the Apple iPad mini from 2024, a brand new refresh, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device and its specifications. So let's just get straight into it. We do have two pull tabs at the back, and they do come off pretty nicely. That's a tiny little fella. Let's boot it up. Get in here. We got just some manuals. I think they're all the same, just different languages. So they all have the same kind of depictions, but I can kind of see through here. Got again the same thing, just multiple languages, and no stickers, unfortunately. At least stickers are too expensive nowadays. And we also get the Type C to Type C charging cable. It's also braided. Okay, moving that to the side, I get to take a look at the device itself. So this is, like I said, a nice refresh of the old iPad mini, which was already pretty dated, as I don't think it had been refreshed for like several years, unlike the iPhones, which basically come out with a new one every single year. Now, taking a look at this, let's start off with the display, which it has a 8.3-inch display with a resolution of 1488 by 2266 pixels. It is a liquid retina IPS LCD display. You kidding me here? Okay. 500 nits of brightness and 77.4% screen to body ratio, which is very low. Very low, as in not in a good way. And in terms of pixels per inch, we are looking at 327 pixels per inch. And the glass itself right here is a scratch-resistant glass, oleophobic coating. It doesn't have any kind of like rating of like Cornell Gorilla Glass or anything like that, so it's some Apple glass specifically. Okay. So to sum up the display, for people that aren't necessarily too well versed into this, the display right here is what I could basically describe as mid. And one could argue that for 600 euros it seems like a okay trade-off, but there is things already lacking in this display that at this price range this device should have, and that's non-negotiable. So that being said, this display doesn't have any kind of refresh rate. High refresh rate, I should specify. So it's running at a bog standard 60 Hz. And with that in mind, my 6-year-old device runs at the same refresh rate and costs at this point about a 1/6 of what this device costs. And this one obviously has better specifications, but obviously not in the display type, as I also have OLED display, not an LCD IPS. So yeah, with that in mind, a 6-year-old device that costs a fraction of the price right now has a significantly better display with a higher resolution and also better screen type than this device. Meaning, like I said, it is just a middle finger from Apple when it comes down to just giving you what I would consider at this point essential for device to have, especially at this price range. So moving on, let's take a look at the cameras at the back. So we have a single camera at the back right here. Obviously that should be good enough. It's not like you're going to be running around and taking photos with this tablet. And that is a 12 megapixel f1.8 aperture wide sensor, and actually good enough, it allows you to record videos at 4K up to 60 frames and 1080p up to 60, along with slow motion 120 and 240 with gyroscopic electronic image stabilization. And then we have another 12 megapixel selfie right here. You're gonna see it right there, and that is like I said, 12 megapixel f2.4 aperture 122 degree ultra wide. And this one unfortunately only caps at 1080p up to 60 frames, so no 4K whatsoever. Now, moving on to the internals, which it's not like I'm going to be opening this up, so I just flip it to the side or to the back. We have a 5078 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty decent for the size of this device. It supports, does it say? No, it doesn't say how fast it charges, but it does say that it's a 19.3 watt hour battery. Moving on, we have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is kind of hilarious considering their laptops, I think, still have 8 gigs of RAM. So considering that the tablet this size has 8, just kind of shows how much bullshit Apple talks about when they claim that our computers don't need more than 8 gigs. RAM is RAM. Anyway, and the device comes at default with the lowest spec with 128 gigabytes of storage, and it can spec out to half a terabyte, which is honestly not as far as I would have expected. I would have probably expected to have like a terabyte of option right here, but still 512 gigs is pretty good anyway. And obviously in terms of OS right here, we are looking at the iPad OS. This is the 18. I think it's the newest one right now, and the device is being powered by an Apple A17 Pro processor, which is, if I remember correctly, actually I don't want to remember, I will check. Right now we have the 16. Yep, there we go. Okay, so it's actually not the, it's the previous version, or maybe not even previous. I think they skipped the 17 on iPhones, if I'm correct. Let's quickly check that as well. So taking a look at this, 15, let's get a look. Yeah, so it looks like Apple did skip a version of their CPU. So iPhone 15 had a A16 Bionic, while the Apple 16, which is the newest one that got released not too long ago, is running the A18 at the very lowest, meaning the Apple 16, the default, like the cheapest version of this device. This is running the Apple A17 Pro processor, which is obviously kind of like in between these two, and I'm not sure if this is the one that supports any kind of AI, as they did try to market at least the iPhones with AI, and that's also one of the reasons why the new iPhones came with an A18, all of them, to basically allow for AI implementations in there, because everything needs to have AI nowadays. So I don't know if this one supports it. But with that being out of the way and said, anything else that I didn't miss, or missed more like, let me quickly run down the list right here. And it looks like I didn't. So yeah, so just a refreshed version of the already known iPad mini, and it seems like a okay refresh rate, but I still feel like Apple is just completely scamming their users. I do want to like this device. I do like the form factor. I like the versatility of it, the power that it has in terms of like the processing power, and the fact that you can also use a pencil with it. The Apple Pencil Pro, though, you need to use the Pro version of it, which is more expensive. And if you have the old one, don't worry, Apple made sure that you can't use that, just because of you. I see no other reasons for that, honestly. So yeah. With that being said, I feel like this could have been an even better device if they just decided to give you the expected specifications for the display, as this is the thing that you're going to be looking at most of the time. It's lacking high refresh rate. Whatever bullshit excuse Apple has it's unexcusable, I would say. High refresh rate is a go-to, and if you're not going to be giving at least high refresh rate, put an AMOLED display or OLED display. One of those, just preferably for this price, you should be doing both. And just to kind of give you a comparison right here, maybe not to a tablet because this doesn't really have much of a there's nothing I could compare this kind of form factor and power to anything else. It's unique in its sense. But that being said, in terms of the display, I do have pretty good comparisons with phones, and every device uses screen, so you know, I feel comfortable comparing phones and tablets as they both use some type of display. This is using crap displays. If you compare it to something like a CMF Phone 1, which was released not too long ago, cost 1/3 of the price of this, comes with 120 Hz refresh rate and OLED display. It's just a middle finger that device that costs 3 times more can't do the same thing. And whatever, like I said, bullshit excuse there is for it, I feel like it's unexcusable when a cheap phone designed to be even cheap can do that, but Apple can't. What are you innovating? The budgetness, the scamminess, is that the innovation that they're really going for? Because I don't see any kind of other innovation. The design hasn't changed, the display hasn't changed from what I can tell, and the only thing that changed was the processor in here to basically sell you another device. Obviously, it was due for a refresh, but other than that, there's nothing that has changed. So there's no innovation whatsoever. There's no discernible difference between these devices, I would argue. And it's honestly disappointing because I really would like a device like that at least falls under the category of its price tag, which is mid-range device, with what you expect at a mid-range price, which is a freaking OLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate. It's 2024, almost end of 2024, and Apple can't do that. And I am just grasping onto this one thing, as this one thing to me is keeping this device away from being really good. Because I'm not an Apple fan, I'm probably the exact opposite of it, but I really do like this idea of a small little tablet that you can just put in a backpack. It takes almost no space, and this is the only thing that is keeping it away from me going out and picking it up. So this would have been probably the first Apple device that would have been using in like last 1.5 decades. And Apple decided to skimp out on something, which I guess means that I'm not going to be using an Apple device for 2 decades. Good job, Apple. Anyway, so with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. I try to just kind of focus on things that make the difference in a device, and actually I would feel like you get your money's worth of it. So that's kind of why I'm focusing on specific parts of it and don't really go into other ones. But I do want to be very clear. This device is still really good. It's just lacking in some departments. So with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, don't forget to smash like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.